So today we're going to be talking about a topic that I get asked about a lot, and that is, have you ever wondered the difference between calorie counting and macro counting? And I'm also here to tell you that if you care any bit about fat loss, then this is for you too. So listen up, because we're going to talk a lot about how it impacts that as well. So first and foremost, why do we even count calories or macros altogether? The number one reason, obviously, fat loss or weight loss for most of us who just want to be more strategically aligned with our goals. But what do we really want out of weight loss? A majority of us would probably say fat loss, right? We don't care so much about losing the water weight, and we definitely don't want to lose the muscle weight. Unfortunately, we cannot strategically target fat loss, but there are absolutely ways that we can promote it and encourage it. And that's where the biggest difference comes into play with macro counting versus calorie counting. So just to keep it simple, if you are tracking calories, you are actually also tracking macros, whether you mean to be or not. So macros is just simply an advanced version of macro counting that involves looking at the nutritional makeup of the foods that you eat. So it puts a higher focus on calorie quality instead of just calories in versus calories out. So let's kind of talk through an example to kind of make this more practical. So let's say you have a daily calorie goal of 1,600 calories. So to get to that 1,600 calorie goal, you can choose anything that you wanted to eat for counting calories. So you can choose to do lean protein and vegetables and salads and all those types of things. Or you could choose to go to McDonald's and you could go to eat ice cream and cake, whatever it may be. You can actually eat a bunch of processed foods and still be under that 1,600 calorie goal, which that's great if you're just looking at counting calories, but that doesn't do anything for our metabolism. That definitely doesn't promote fat loss, and that definitely isn't doing anything for body compositional changes at all. So to do this and to encourage those things we just talked about, we have to be strategic and intentional about the nutritional value of the foods that we eat on a regular basis. So aside from just looking at certain calories, we're looking at the entire picture and the nutritional value of the foods that we eat. So we're looking at the protein, we're looking at the amount of carbs, we're looking at the amount of fat. So it's just first and foremost, counting macros is a great educational tool to just gain more knowledge and insight into what the nutritional value of the things that we eat on a regular basis are, because they might actually surprise you. I was that girl for so long. I was like, oh, I would eat really healthy. But when I started looking at the nutritional values of things that I ate, that wasn't absolutely true. So why does this even matter? First and foremost, counting macros, it's going to help us to prioritize more nutrient-dense foods on a regular basis. So when we eat more whole, non-processed foods, our bodies have to use more energy, meaning we burn more calories to break it down. So when we have whole, non-processed foods, they haven't been broken down at all yet, except for the minimal amount we've used to cook them. So our bodies have to do the extra work in breaking them down, meaning burn more calories doing it. When we eat more processed foods, most of them are already broken down for us. That's what they do to make the shelf life extend longer. Plus there's been additives and colors and dyes and all those types of things that have been thrown in there as well. So when we consume those, they're already pretty much broken down, so our bodies don't have to work as hard. We don't burn as many calories doing it and breaking them down. So it helps us to prioritize those higher protein numbers and those foods that fuel our body properly the way it was designed to do. So not only that, but helping us to focus on a higher protein diet and actually looking at how much protein is in things going to keep us fuller longer, so it helps us to snack less incessantly. It's also going to help us to have more lean muscle mass, maintain what we already have, and not want to lose the muscle mass we have, and also promote fat loss. This is how we do it. Because what happens is when we're counting calories, we definitely will probably lose weight if we are intaking less than we normally do. But what we're losing is probably water weight or muscle weight, maybe sometimes fat, but majority of the first two. When we look at our macros, what we're actually doing is we're preserving the lean muscle mass we had, and we're promoting fat loss. So we're trying to control what we can control in weight that we actually lose versus just losing any kind of specific weight. So aside from just like learning a lot about nutritional makeup, promoting fat loss, promoting body compositional changes, also there's a reason why these are called macronutrients, because we need them. We need the right amount of protein, carbs, and fats for our bodies to thrive and be able to optimally perform. So why do we need protein? It keeps us fuller longer. It's boosting our metabolism because we burn more calories when we eat it. It helps us to build and rebuild the cartilage, the skin, the muscle, to preserve the muscle we already have. Why do we need more carbs? It's the number one energy source. No carbs equal no energy. So if you're not eating carbs, you need carbs. I just need to reiterate that. We also need them for our increased thyroid and even the proper brain functioning as well. Why do we need fats? Fats provide the satisfaction in foods that we get and also for hormone production. And this is crazy, but girls, if you are not getting the right amount of fats into your diet daily, then you're doing yourself a disservice because it's absolutely not going to help you in performing properly when it comes to your hormones, which what do we know? That affects our cycle, that affects our sleep, that affects our mood, that affects our hunger cues. It literally affects everything. So getting just enough fats in there is so important for optimal functioning. So how do we know if we're getting the right amount of all these things? We track macros. That's how we know. We make sure not only that we're getting the right amount of the nutrients that our bodies need to thrive, but we also are promoting fat loss, boosting our metabolism. We're able to find food freedom at the same time, all while getting closer to our goals and actually having body compositional changes. Isn't that a win-win, right? So you get to learn along the way. You get to truly dive deep into nutrition so that you can build long-term habits. You get to find food freedom by eating 80% of whole foods, but 20% of fun and not missing out on family time. You get to prioritize the foods that make your body and make you feel good, and at the same time, all being aligned with your goals and promoting fat loss. Those are the reason that we track macros. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments box and I'll be more than happy to answer it. But I hope you enjoyed.